Learning English through the internet. My name is Sophia, and I'm 15 years old. I live in a small town, and I've always wanted to improve my English. At school, we learn some English, but I know I can do better. I want to speak better English because it will help me when I get older, and I also want to read and watch things in English, like movies and books. So, I decided to work hard to improve my English on my own. I started by using the internet. There is so much information on the internet, and I thought it would be a good way to practice. Every day, after school, I would go to my computer and start surfing the internet. I would look up different things like animals, history, or how to make crafts. I also tried to find interesting stories or news articles in English. At first, it was a little hard because I didn't know all the words, but I didn't stop. I looked up the words I didn't understand in a dictionary or on Google Translate. This helped me learn new words every day. I also tried to remember the words by using them in sentences. Sometimes, I would even say the words out loud to practice how to pronounce them. The more I read, the more I understood. Once I found an interesting article, I would read it carefully. Then, I would write a short essay about what I had read. At first, my essays were very simple, but I didn't mind. I just wanted to practice. I would write a few sentences, like the elephant is a big animal. It lives in Africa and Asia. It is gray and has big ears. It wasn't perfect, but I was proud of myself. I knew I was learning. After a while, I started reading longer articles. Some of them were about science, some were about sports, and others were about different countries. The more I read, the better I got at understanding the information. I started writing longer essays too. Instead of just writing a few sentences, I would write 2 or 3 paragraphs. I learned how to make my writing better by adding more details. For example, when I wrote about a topic like how do plants grow, I would explain how plants need water, sunlight, and soil to grow. I also learned how to connect ideas better. I learned to use words like first, next, and finally to make my writing flow. Sometimes, when I didn't understand a sentence, I would go back and read it again. I also learned that it helped if I took my time and didn't rush. The more I practiced, the easier it became. I noticed that my writing was improving. I could use more interesting words, and my sentences were getting longer and better. I also started to look at essays written by other people on the internet. I would compare their writing to mine and think about how I could make my own writing better. Some of the essays I read were written by students just like me. They made me feel like I could improve too. I tried to follow their examples and use better grammar. Sometimes I would even ask my teacher for help. She was happy to give me some tips on how to make my essays better. One day, I decided to write an essay about my favorite subject, animals. I spent a long time looking for information on the internet about different animals. I found out many interesting things. For example, I learned that cheetahs are the fastest animals on land, and that penguins can't fly but are really good swimmers. I wrote about all the things I learned, and it was the longest essay I had ever written. I was so proud of myself. After writing that essay, I felt much more confident in my English. I started using more difficult words and writing longer sentences. I also felt more comfortable when I spoke in English. I knew I still had to practice, but I was excited because I could already see how much I had improved. I didn't stop using the internet to learn. I kept reading articles, watching videos, and writing essays. Sometimes, I would read a book in English or watch a movie with subtitles. I loved learning new things, and it was always fun to see how much I could improve each day. One day, my teacher asked us to write an essay for class. I was a little nervous, but I knew I had practiced a lot and was ready. I wrote about how the internet can help us learn new things. I used everything I had learned from reading articles and writing essays. When I handed in my essay, my teacher smiled and said it was one of the best ones in the class. I was so happy. I couldn't believe how much I had improved. Now, I feel much better about my English. I can understand more when people speak to me in English, and I feel confident when I write. I know that if I keep practicing, I can keep getting better. I am proud of myself for working hard, and I'm excited to keep learning. The internet helped me a lot, and I'm glad I decided to use it to improve my English. In the future, I want to keep reading, writing, and learning. Maybe one day I'll even write a book in English. For now, I am happy with all the progress I've made, and I'm excited to see where my English skills will take me. I also realized something important. It's not just about reading and writing, but also about having fun while learning. I started to watch funny English videos, listen to music in English, and even follow some English-speaking YouTubers. It made learning feel less like a chore and more like a fun adventure. The more I enjoyed the process, the more I wanted to learn. This made me feel even more confident, and I was excited to share my progress with my friends and family. Every week, I would set small goals for myself, like learning 5 new words or writing an essay about a new topic. Reaching these goals made me proud of myself. I began to notice that my English was improving not only in school but also in my daily life. I felt more comfortable speaking English, even when I made small mistakes. I knew that with time and practice, I would get better and better. My love for learning English grew every day. I now see English not just as a school subject, but as a way to connect with the world. It was amazing to know that I could communicate with people from different countries, watch movies without subtitles, and read books that I had always wanted to read. English was opening doors for me, and I was excited to see where this journey would take me next.